Sebiego from Filmstro here with a quick video about sound effects. This is something we haven't done before, and something I used to do a little bit before Filmstro. So this is back to something I'm reasonably confident about. However, this is a very, very quick attempt. We used a Frozen clip for a recent video that you may have seen, which is just about creating some music for a trailer for Frozen, and we needed to strip out the music from the original trailer, so of course we then had to redo the sound effects. Now, I've spent probably in the region of about 25 minutes potentially making these, and I thought I'd roll this into a quick tutorial just to kind of give some of you who might be interested a heads up about some of the workflow for sound effects. So what we might do first is very quickly listen to the original once through. Just it's only a clip of a clip actually, and then I'll just talk through what I've done here to mimic some of these sounds. So here goes. So yeah, excellent stuff, really, really nice. And just to manage expectation, we haven't done half of the stuff that's in there. However, this is, as I said, just a quick explainer. So here's how we approach this then. So firstly, it's always good to, I'm working in Logic Pro by the way, but this would work in most DAWs. So you would want to add some markers for where your sound effects are going to appear. The other thing I strongly recommend is working with your snap value set to frames, so that when you're nudging around a session or using your arrows to kind of get that granular control or move things about when you're wanting to make these kind of really fine-grained positional changes, you're going to be moving in frames, which of course is going to synchronize to the pictures you see. I've just moved the video preview out of frame actually, guys, but normally I'd be looking at that, of course. The other thing I recommend doing is working sequentially in terms of the layout as well. So if you've got a session of, let's say for this, if I was doing this for real, and I was tasked with doing sound design for a sequence like this, there might be upward of 50 or more tracks, and I would always work from left to right, top to bottom, so that I would literally see the sound that's going to happen first. I would see it at the top left, and so on and so forth down. The other thing I would recommend strongly is working with folders. And so grouping things together. So for example, if you have a compound sound which you've created out of more, several sound effects, which is quite likely, especially if you recorded stuff yourself to build up this kind of layered, unique sounds, then you might want to combine them. So if you go into one of these folders, you can see that there are 3 sounds, or to be precise, a part of a sound, another sound, and then 2 additional sounds inside of here. So that's another way of working. There's another folder over here which has got some underwater stuff. Let's go through it step by step. So the first sound I could hear in the reference was a rise. I haven't gone for a similar rise, just a rise. So here it is. Again, full disclosure, to create a rise like this, you need some either a sample pack with lots of rises, or you need some software instruments, such as Native Instruments, something that will give you access to this kind of sound. The next sound was the breath. The only breath I had was a Logic standard breath, so what I decided to do here to change it slightly was I used a pitch shift to bring it up by a couple of semitones, because the female breath I had was too old, so I wanted to make it sound younger. And the other thing that I did importantly was to strip out all of the low frequencies in terms of the EQ to again give it that really thin ethereal sound which we would associate with this fairy tale character on screen. Now, the ice, which is basically when this character shoots out this kind of powerful magic kind of freezing effect from her wrists, that's a compound sound. I'll just play it first. So there it is. I'll just play it one more time. what's happening in there actually is basically there's an onset, which is a very small part of a crash with some glass in it, which is this. It's hardly noticeable. Then I took this other crash glass here, faded it in, but also importantly reversed it, so we get this kind of an end. You can see there's very clearly a strong audio cutoff to this, and that happens just as the main bulk of the ice is created. That then comes to a close, so it goes like that, and you can see when the sound stops, that's actually when the main bulk has been created. What the movement we see after that is effectively like an after effect. So there's something that happens after the main ice has been created, and that's basically kind of like a sound tail, if you like. And for that, I used some wind, so just normal, literally wind sound. So that would be this one, because that's got a really nice natural fall off. And then the last thing was some chimes, because that's what I also heard in the reference. And again, I've just thrown these in without any reverb, without any particular treatment, no kind of spatial stuff going on, nothing special at all. But that's the sound we get for the ice then. And then let's have a look at the last one. So we have one more female sound, which is the scream. Now this one is, again, quite inappropriate. This is a very young child, so clearly not this princess. But I thought, again, it's just easy peasy to throw that in. And then the last one is the underwater sound. Now this is created from an underlying bed, which is this texture here. I didn't emphasize the splash, again, given more time, that would have been quite nice to do. And then here, when this horse comes in, it's actually, there was definitely some lightning, thunder, lightning type things, and also a little bit of electrical noise. So I put the electrical noise in here, literally just to emphasize the actual flash itself, and then there's some thunder and lightning. Again, these are standard assets from Apple, so the Apple loops in Logic Pro 10. And then there's another thunder and lightning later when it comes closer, so it's a bit more full-bodied to kind of symbolize that it's now more in the foreground. And then lastly, when we have these kind of, it disintegrates into bubbles and flies past. Now, this again, I could have spent probably half a day on. This is literally just some debris and dirt, but panned, as you can see, in real time. So we're getting this, I did some automation on this just to pan that over. You can see here it's going from center to right, because that mimics the material in front of us, so it goes over to the right there. So let's have a listen to that again. And again, if we wanted to, we could have tweaked that with some more reverb. Probably I should have mixed in some more watery sounds, bubbles, and again some high gloss, like some chimey, metallic kind of more instrument-led stuff. So altogether, that underwater sound in a compound way sounds like this. Cool, there you have it. One workflow and a couple of considerations when creating sound effects. Hope that was useful. Thanks very much.